If you're watching this right now, that means you're alive, which means you have faced adversity in your life. And if you've faced adversity in your life, then resilience is something that helps get you through those things. So if you're somebody who would like to learn how to become more resilient, hang on. I've got 7 tips to help you get through that. I'm your coach, Laura Campbell, and if you enjoy what you watch today, I have it all in my blog that came out yesterday, simplyfitandfab.com. You can check it out there. And if you're a diabetic, I'd love to have you join my Facebook group, Healthy Diabetic with Coach Laura. So resilience is the ability to adapt to life, the misfortunes and setbacks in life. And in this year and a half worldwide, we all have had misfortunes and setbacks. We've dealt with COVID and sickness and death, and on a very large scale, we've dealt with a lot. And some people have come through this in a better place than others. And a lot of that goes back to the resilience and what's going on up here. So today we're going to talk about some ways to help you become more resilient. So people that lack resilience are people that they dwell on their problems. They may have a victim mentality, feel like that they're a victim. They may become overwhelmed and turn to unhealthy ways to cope, such as alcohol and food. But people that handle adversity better, who are more resilient, they have an ability to pivot from the situations they're in, find the positive, and to experience all the emotions, but to move on, become a better person based on what they've gone through, and go on with their lives. And being resilient doesn't mean you paste a smile on your face and you're happy 24/7. It doesn't mean that at all. We all experience emotions. That's all normal and that's all good. So, but resilience is how long you're going to sit in that emotion. So let's say somebody rear-ends you on the way to work, and obviously you're going to be upset. You're going to be upset this person wasn't careful. Maybe they're following too closely. They were speeding, whatever they were doing, and they caused you to have take time out of your day and deal with insurance companies. So it's annoying, and it's normal for you to be mad. But where resilience comes into place is how long are you going to sit in that anger? Are you going to be angry for a few minutes and say, well, I'm glad nobody was hurt? Or are you going to be angry for days, weeks, months, thinking about this person that hit you, cussing them, and dwelling on it and making yourself sick over it? So there's 2 ways you can go. You can accept it for what it is and move on, or you can dwell on it. And I find myself a lot lately being very mindful of my attitude and my mind, and being careful not to dwell on the bad. For example, 2 weeks ago, our house was hit by lightning and has caused a lot of issues. It burned up half of our electronics and appliances and air conditionings and all kinds of things. And it's been very annoying and it's been troublesome. But what I did is I got out a piece of paper and I wrote down all the good things that have happened because our house got struck by electricity. One of them was I had a Ninja blender that worked great and there was nothing wrong with it. I really wanted a new Vitamix, but I couldn't justify spending the money. So now that my blender was burned up, I went and bought the new Vitamix. So I made a list of several things that I'm thankful for that were the good part of being struck by lightning. But the bad thing is there's still a lot of chaos. A lot of stuff is not fixed. And I might get interrupted in this Facebook Live today because the people that are supposed to come to fix our garage door openers may pop in at some point. So there's still a lot of chaos, but I'm trying very carefully and mindfully to focus on the good things. And that's what resilience is bouncing back from these negative things in our lives, not letting them consume you or define you or create that victim mentality. So, the unfortunate thing about resilience is in order to build your resilience muscle, you have to go through adversity. But the fortunate thing is, I guess if you want to say it's fortunate, we all have adversity. So we all get to choose how long we focus on the negative and finding ways to look for the positive. And if you've had really big times of adversity, you're in a unique position to really use that to create more resilience in your life. For example, I've had a lot of adversity in my life, as all of you have. But 11 years ago in October, my husband went out on a motorcycle ride and got in an accident and never came back. And I was left to be a mother, a single parent to my boys who were 7 and 11. And that was by far the biggest adversity I've faced in my life. And it was a big one. And I believe because of that big adversity, I have built a pretty strong resilience muscle, because now when things happen, I compare it. Losing my husband, lightning strike, no big deal. Losing my husband, fender bender, no big deal. Losing my husband, flat tire, no big deal. So it's helped me to frame things better. So the good news is, if you've had something really bad happen to you, you can use that to build your resilience so that you're able to handle other things better. So I came up with a list of 7 things that has helped me to build resilience, and hopefully will help you to build resilience in your life. And the first one is taking care of your body. If you exercise, you diet, or not diet, but eat right, see the doctor when you need to, take care of your physical body. When these stressful things happen in your life, you're better able to cope with it. So if you're physically feel good and you get rear-ended in a car, just the stress of that is not going to be as heavy on you. If you're somebody that has type 2 diabetes and heart issues, and you're obese and you don't feel good already, that's going to be even harder. And losing a loved one is very hard on your body. Let me tell you, it's very hard on your body. But fortunately, I started off in a healthy place. I ended up losing a good bit of weight and was not necessarily as healthy for a little while because of the toll of the loss. But since I came from a healthy place, I was able to get through it okay. And in fact, the reason I became a personal trainer and health coach in the first place is because and when my husband died, I had to find a job to support my family. And so I did that, decided to become, I went to school to become a personal trainer, and that's what I did. And the reason I chose that is because I found that exercise really helped me to get through my grief, and it really helped my family as well. My boys and I started running together, and so that was a good bonding time. We found those endorphins kind of picked us up a little bit. My oldest son and I started running 5Ks and mud runs together, and the physical feeling and the endorphins of doing that really helped us through it. So if you're somebody that's not currently exercising right now, go out, start walking, join a gym. If you're not sure what to do, invest in a personal trainer for a month or 2 to learn how to do that. Hire a health coach. Do some research, find some ways to eat healthier and start working on you. So it's never too late, but you can handle these stressors much, much better when you come from a healthy place. And the second thing is to have a support network. So a lot of us lost our support networks through COVID, and, regaining them is going to take work. If you're not comfortable getting out yet, perhaps like an outdoor activity like a hiking club or, something that meets outside might suit you. There are a lot of things, a lot of organizations doing Zoom meetings and those kind of things. So find a way to connect. If you're comfortable getting back out there, join a church, club, organization, something you're interested in to have people around you to support you. Because I can tell you, after losing my husband, the church family and friends, they really helped lift me up, prop me up. They brought us meals. They were a shoulder to cry on. These things in life are so hard to get through anyways, but they're so much harder when you do them on your own. So build up a good support network. And if you don't have one yet, start working on building those connections, because someday you're going to need somebody and someday they're going to need you too. So it's not just a selfish thing. It's a two-way street. The next one is a fun one, embrace humor. So my boys and I, after losing my husband, we watched a lot of Seinfeld, and we laughed a lot from that Seinfeld. And those hours spent watching Seinfeld were not lost, were not wasted times. And, there's a lot of situations in life that come up. We're like, oh, remember that Seinfeld episode about this? And it added a little humor and joy to our life. One thing we did too was adopt a kitten, Comet. You might see him popping in here now and then. About a month or so after my husband died, we got the kitten. I said, we need some joy and laughter in this house. So we got a kitten. The studies show that even just the act of smiling can lift you up. It can increase those endorphins. So maybe in the beginning you might have to fake a smile, just fake it, and fake it till you make it. And then laugh at yourself. One of the things that got burnt out was our refrigerator. So the guys brought it in Monday. They spent 2 hours loading up, tracking mud through the house. I go in there and look at it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I ordered the wrong refrigerator. There's no ice or water dispenser. I drink a lot of ice and water. So I'm like, I'm a big dummy. I ordered the wrong refrigerator. So as luck would have it, the door was scratched. So they were going to bring us a new one anyways. So I have to wait 3 weeks, but we're going to get our new refrigerator. But I'm able to laugh at myself about the foolish thing I did by ordering the wrong refrigerator. I could choose to dwell on it and feel bad about it, but it ain't nothing but a thing. I'm going to let it go. So humor is really important in getting you through those tough times. So go watch a funny movie, make yourself laugh, tickle yourself, or paste a fake smile on for the time being if you need to, but all that does help, okay? The next one is live to learn. So, learn from other people's experiences. I'm not the first person who has lost my husband and had to raise 2 small children, so I got books and I listened to other people's stories, other people's advice, other people, their support. So I learned from what they went through so I could help me and my children. I learned that, my youngest was 7 and, his reaction to death was kind of matter of fact. And I saw that was normal. But when he turned 8, he started to affect him more because he had more of a realization of what it was all about. So reading helped prepare me for that. So whatever you're going through, there's a book somewhere that somebody has written that's gone through the same thing. There's some blog post or there's a Facebook post or something on the internet. Somebody has gone through something similar. So there's a lot of comfort in knowing you're not alone. And there's a lot of good advice out there. So whatever you're dealing with, go out there and seek out some information on it. So live to learn, live to learn. The next one's random act of kindness. I used to have a sign in my office that in seeking happiness for others, you find it in yourself. I found it to be very true. When you take the focus off yourself and put it on somebody else and do something for them, it lifts you up a little bit. It makes you feel better. It could be as simple as, going through the drive-thru and buying the meal for the person behind you, or it could be sending a nice text message to somebody, or it could be visiting an elderly neighbor, or letting somebody get in front of you at the grocery store in the line. So anything like that is, a perfectly great way to lift somebody else up. And in doing so, you lift yourself up. So the next thing is focus on the positive. So, bad things are always going to happen, but you can always find something good in the day. Kind of like with the refrigerator, and lightning and all that. It was a bad thing, but I made a point of finding the good things about it. When my kids were in a grief support group shortly after my husband died, they had them make something called the Happy Box. And I'm going to have to hold off 1 second because the people are here for the garage door. Give me 1 second, sorry. All right, folks, perfect example of resilience. I knew the guy would probably come as soon as I got on here with you guys, but either way, the Happy Box. So I pulled this out. So this has been sitting on our shelf for many years, and I hadn't looked at it until this week, and so I pulled it out. So these are things that the boys and I wrote in the early months after I lost my husband and they lost their father. So I just want to pull a couple out and see what they say. I don't know what's all in here. Let's see. Okay, running club. So this one says we went to running club. And I wrote done with 2 tests. So that's when I was going to school. This one just says it's Tuesday. So that's all the good they could find on that day was Tuesday, and that's okay. And this one says I got hit. I don't know what that means, so hopefully that was a good hit. This one, Mimi picked me up from school. Again, something small, but we were able to find something good in that day. Some of these is hard to read because they're written by little kids. Let's see, I am eating fajita meat, okay? So, you know, they had just lost their father and looking for some, you know, what positive thing was that day was eating fajita meat. So mine was I got a great massage. So that is a really good one. Pokemon Black 2 came out apparently. We finished a 5K. So these are all things that we wrote in those early days after losing my husband. And, you know, so it really helped us to have a positive attitude, because a positive attitude just goes so far. So no matter what terrible thing you're in, I encourage you to find something positive in it. And I like to surround myself with, you know, positive Bible verses, positive quotes, things that will lift me up on those days when I'm not feeling lifted up. So positive, focusing on the positive is a huge thing. The last one is to set goals. So, you know, studies show that when you set a goal, no matter how small, when you achieve it, you get that little burst of dopamine. So if your goal was to do the laundry today and you wrote it down, do the laundry, and you crossed it off, you get that little burst of dopamine. In those early days after losing my husband, those goals I had were very small. Lord, help me get through the day and keep my kids fed and just, you know, fed and gone to school and alive, you know, very simple goals in the beginning. But then as time went on, we had goals of finishing a 5K, finishing a mud run. And as the goals got bigger and we achieved those goals, that dopamine rush got a little bit bigger each time. So set yourself a goal. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Again, if you're going through something really difficult, you know, it may just mean getting dressed, taking a shower that day. Or it may be something, you know, bigger that you're preparing for, like a race or a mud run or a big speech or whatever it is. It can be of any size. You know, if you're having a rough time, maybe your goal is to wash the dishes that day, and that's okay. But make a goal and achieve it, and continuing to look towards the future. So I hope those things helped you to learn a few ways to build more resilience in your life. And by no means do I have it figured out. I'm not bulletproof. I'm not Teflon. You know, but I try to be mindful of my attitude, and I try to, as I start going places, feeling sorry for myself or whatever, pull myself back and say, no, listen, you lost your husband, you made it through that, you got this, you can do this. So I encourage you to, you know, adjust your mindset and to have a positive attitude. Again, I have all this written down in my blog that came out yesterday. All the 7 points that we talked about. You can find that at simplyfitandfab.com. And for all you diabetic folks out there, I'd love to have you join my Facebook group, Healthy Diabetic with Coach Laura. Until next time, hope you have a fabulous day, and I will see you next week.